Let's get stuck into the big race of the day. It takes place at Ascot at 3:35. It's the Betfair Ascot Chase. What a race. Tom, read out the prices and then the listeners will know just what a contest we've got.
Yeah, it's an absolute belter, Bruce. Top Notch is our 2-1 favourite at the moment. Waiting Patiently is next in at 9-4. Coney Island is a 3-1 shot, and Q Card is 8-1, and it's 10's bar.
Okay, David Jennings, I want you to get everyone excited and give us the winner.
What a race, first of all. It's a cracker. And I've been giving this plenty of thought all week. And I was down with Eddie Harty for an interview that's in Saturday's Race Post. And that really got my juices flowing for the race because it really is a cracker. And we saw 7 declared on Monday or Tuesday. And we were hoping they'd all stand their ground. And they did. I fancy Coney Island, and not just because I'm Irish, because I think he's got the potential to be this year's Gold Cup winner. A couple of different reasons. First of all, Top Notch. I love Top Notch. I think he's a cracking horse. I really do. But this is his 22nd start. And I just wonder, can Top Notch get any better than 164? In my head, I'm kind of thinking, this is 22nd start. We've seen him do his thing, and maybe he will continue to do it for years to come. But I just wonder, has he reached the peak of his powers now? Whereas I'm absolutely convinced we have not seen the best of Coney Island yet. This is only Coney Island's 11th start. He's very lightly raced, and he's, like, talking to Eddie Hart, he's only filling out into his frame now. He's convinced that we've yet to see the best of him. And I agree. There's a couple of problems here. The last Irish winner of this race was way back in 1996. Sound Man won it. But I think Coney Island, if you go back to his form from last season when he won the Drinmore, like he had Annabelle Fly back in second, who's now rated 159. And back in fourth that day, beating over 8 lengths, was Road to Respect, who's obviously rated 167 now and is well fancied for the Gold Cup. That's pretty strong form. That's as good a novice form as you can get from last season. And it put them ahead of Top Notch from last season. And I think, listening to Eddie and putting all the clues together, I think Coney Island is a completely different horse now than he was last season. And I think he'll win, Bruce.
And do you think that this, if he does win, that they'll take enough encouragement from it to go for gold, or will they take the Ryanair route, do you think?
Well, I went to Eddie Harty's the other day with Frank Hickey in the back of my head, thinking, make sure you find out exactly where he's going, try and convince him to go to the Gold Cup. And I was hoping for Frank's sake, because I know Frank's going to buy the whole island of Ireland if Coney Island does win the Gold Cup, because I think he's got him to win probably 7.3 million or something. But I was really trying to get out of Eddie, and the impression I got was, and the quote that stood out most to me was, he's not the finished article yet. And I said to him straight out, I said, when do you think he'll be the finished article? And he said, this time next year. He will definitely be the finished article. So that makes me think that maybe they'll go for the Ryanair this year and the Gold Cup next year. But the big thing is that JP doesn't really have anything for the Gold Cup, apart from Manila Rocco, possibly Ed Wolf. But they don't scream Gold Cup winners. They're not 8-1 shots for the Gold Cup like Coney Island.
So you basically did a really rubbish job, didn't you? You were sent there to get Eddie Harty to get the thing to go to the Gold Cup, and you failed, DJ. I'm on Coney Island as well. Can't believe it. But that interview, DJ, is in Saturday's Racing Post, isn't it? And it's a belter, apparently.
Yeah, really, it's really interesting. Not because I wrote it, but his quote, he's a really intelligent guy. Like, he's actually far more intelligent than I even thought he was. And he taught me actually a lot in about an hour and a half.
Okay, jolly good. Well, an hour and a half is roughly how long DJ's been telling us why Coney Island's going to win. Graham Rodway, what's your view of this race?
Well, if Coney Island is not the finished article and is still going to be able to win this race, then he's going to be some animal in a year's time, because this is the race of the season.
Brilliant, isn't it?
It's an absolutely fantastic race. You've got Top Notch, who is the finished article, there's no doubt about it, and he is rock solid. He's a really tough horse to pass, and he's bound to run well. He's got the course form. And we've got probably the most exciting horse in Britain this year, certainly for me, Waiting Patiently. Running for Ruth Jefferson first time, being brought along very slowly by Malcolm Jefferson, and it's been so impressive. Every single time this horse turns up in a chase, nothing can even give him a race. He absolutely thrashed Politologue last year in the same way that Altior did at Newbury, and he's just improving with every start. I mean, I think that it's going to take a very special performance to beat Waiting Patiently. He'd be my idea to win. My only problem is that he was around about 100 to 30 earlier in the week, and he's down to a 9-4. 2-1, which
5-2 with Paddy Power.
Yeah, that's probably on the short side, I'd say. There's noises coming out of Colin Tizard's that he's got Q Card right back to his best. Now, I mean, he is going to have to be right back at his best to compete with these younger legs. And I was really impressed with Frodon last time as well at Cheltenham. That was a fantastic performance in similar conditions, and he jumped so well, that horse. It's just chock full of quality, the race.
I mean, even Speradek ran a blinder last time as well, didn't he?
Yeah, it was his second to Undersow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was an absolute
And really
cracker.
stayed on after Undersow.
Looks like he'll
past
definitely improve for the step up in trip,
What
doesn't
a
he?
race it's going to be, G-Rod, isn't it?
Fantastic race. I hope Waiting Patiently does the business, wins nicely, and they go on to Cheltenham with it. Because I really think this horse is potentially something special. But it wouldn't surprise me if something else won it. Anything could win it, really.
Tom, are you looking forward to this one?
Yeah, I really, really can't wait. Very, very sweet on Coney Island. I'd know Patrick Harty a little bit and met him on the steps of the Weigh Room in Leopardstown a couple of weekends ago for that Dublin Racing Festival. And when he talked about Coney Island, he's normally a fairly measured character, a bit like his dad. But his eyes lit up and they're just absolutely buzzing for this horse. They cannot wait. I think DJ made very, very good point about Coney Island's novice form. It's rock solid. I think the best is yet to come from him, definitely. And to Graham's point as well, this race has absolutely outstanding depth to it. We've glossed over Frodon. We haven't even really given Q-Card a mention. It's a cracking race, but I think Coney Island is going to win.
Yeah, and G-Rod, I have to, endorse what you say. It's the race of the season, isn't it?
But without doubt, it's in generally speaking, this season in Britain, it's not been the most fantastic jump season, hasn't it? But this race has the potential to really set it alight.
Absolutely, I agree completely. So we've got 2 votes from the lads over in Ireland for Coney Island, and G-Rod is going for Waiting Patiently. Excellent stuff, thank you, boys. The 150 at Ascot is the Sodexo Reynoldstown Novices Chase. And Tom, how did Paddy Power bet on this one?
Yeah, Black Corton is our 10 to 11 favourite now. Miss Parfois is next in at 5 to 2. Mount Muse 3 to 1, and Crystal Lad is the 33 to 1 outsider.
G-Rod, will it be yet another Saturday when the girls are winning the big races? Lizzie Kelly's got a big race ride up at Haydock, hasn't she? And good old Bryony Frost has been an absolute one of these stories of the season. She's reunited with Black Corton here. Are you going to stay with the Fav?
Yeah, I find it hard to see Black Corton being beat here. I mean, he just keeps improving with every start. He's not flashy, but he jumps well. He's really tough. He stays forever. He seems to act on any ground, which was the massive worry earlier in the season. But his last 2 wins have come with plenty of cuts, so I don't see that being a problem. And I just think he's absolutely rock solid. And there's not that much strength in depth against him. For the Reynoldstown is often a decent race, but I thought this year it wasn't the strongest, and I'll be disappointed if Black Corton doesn't do the business.
David Jennings, who's your fancy?
Yeah, Graham is right. Black Corton should really win, rate 155, but I'm going to take him on. I have this nagging doubt that I just think he's had too much racing. He had 11 runs in 2017. I think he had maybe 7 since August, and that's a lot for a novice. Obviously, he's getting better, and he's only 7, so he might have taken his race really well. But I can actually think I can visualise this race. I just think Mount Muse has the potential to travel all over these. Now, he's not a thorough stayer, and certainly stamina is a little bit of a worry, and he was outstayed last time at Doncaster by what's his name. But just the manner in which he came up to what's his name there was real eye-catching, and he was a top novice. He was second in the Grade 1 at Aintree last season. I think turning for home, you'll see Black Corton and Miss Parfois basically being under the pump, and Mount Muse, I think Brian Hughes will be absolutely tanking. Whether he has the stamina to go by, I'm not sure, but I just think this could be one occasion where his class might get him through. I think he's a horse that's suited by small fields, and I think ability-wise, he's got the most ability in the race, even though he's rated £15 lower than Black Corton at the moment. But I just think ability-wise, he's got loads of ability, and he's still a work in progress. And I just wonder, the fact that he's lighter raced, the fact that he hasn't had to get down and dirty like Black Corton has, I wonder will that be to his advantage. And I think at the prices, I think there's only 2 horses that can win it, and that's Mount Muse or Black Corton.
That was a very you're going to go with Mount Muse, eh? That was a very kind of accurate visualisation there, DJ. I could imagine you with your hands on a crystal ball there, the way you could envisage Mount Muse travelling all over them and coming past Black Corton. What's your visualisation of this race, Tom, look like?
Yeah, I really like Miss Parfois here. She's rated 146 now, and she's got loads of scope to improve. She's a big, massive chestnut mare by Mahler. She's been an absolute revelation over fences. I thought she was great up at Warwick the last day. She jumps for fun and she stays really, really well. I'd agree that she'll be handy, and it could be herself and Black Horton taking each other on as they swing for home in Ascot. But I think Miss Parfois will stay on stronger towards the line.
Wow, well, that's confusing. There's 3 big guns in this race, and the lads have gone for each of them. So you pay your money, you take your chances. Let's look at the 225, see if there's more unity on this one. It's the Keltbray Swinley Chase. It's a limited handicap, and we've got Nicky Henderson's Gold Present heading the market. What's the latest betting, Tom?
Gold Present is 9-4. Another Venture is 7-2. Tenor Nivernais is a 5-1 shot. View Leon Rouge is 6-1 alongside Hollybush Henry, and it's 10-1 bar. And
it's your go to go first, Tom.
No massive opinion on the race at the moment. I had a quick look at Tenor Nivernais with the ground and Venetia Williams, but I don't really have a strong opinion on it just right at this minute.
I mean, Tenor Nivernais, DJ, last year, it was one of the most amazing performances of the season, wasn't he? He just went clear and won by a distance. It was absolutely extraordinary, but he's running so badly now. I mean, can you really put your faith in him at 5-1?
Yeah, he's one of these horses that just pops up and does things like that every now and again, and it's so frustrating as a punter because you just don't know what he's going to do. And you know, he was deplorable, really, at Doncaster last time. He jumped terribly, he didn't travel with any zest, and he just looked finished. He just looked like he said to himself, you know what, I've enough of this bloody game. I've been at it for long enough. So I've a line through Tenor Nivernais, and I absolutely hate myself for this. I really do. But I'm starting to fancy the outsider of the whole field and think he's the one horse in the race that's overpriced, and that's Regal Encore. Like, when I started studying this race, little did I know I'd be tipping Regal Encore, but there's a couple of reasons. Like, first of all, Anthony Honeyball's horses they're in proper form at the minute. I think 2 of his last 6 have won. They're running well. Regal Encore, like that third in the Ladbroke Trophy behind Total Recall and Whisper, that's probably the best piece of form in the race. He was 66-1 that day, but he didn't run like a 66-1 shot. And he was one of them ones where you're watching Total Recall was fancied, Whisper was fancied, and they were travelling really well. And you're kind of going, God, what the hell is this JP thing? I didn't even know he had one in the race. And he travelled really well that day. And while he bombed out at Ascot last time, I do think he likes the place. He won the Silver Cup, I think, the season before last, off the mark of 144. Tenor Nivernais was behind him. It was the day of the fog, if you remember. He's only £6 higher now. Barry Garrity pulled him up very early behind Gold Present in this season's Silver Cup. He just made a mistake early on. And off 150, in a race like this, which doesn't have that much strength and depth, it's not as big a field as you'd be expecting. I think he's probably the value at 14-1.
OK, G-Rod, what's your view of this race? Because Gold Present's fab, and Gold Present is many people's idea of the value in the Grand National. Can he endorse his entry claims here, do you think?
It's that sort of race, isn't it, where you get Grand National types turning up just after the weights come out. And he's a very good jumper. So one thing that struck me last season with Gold Present is he's very, very sound over his fences, which is a big thing at Ascot. It's a tough test to jump him around there. And he's improving, and he seems to go on the ground. There's a lot to like about him, but not the price. You know, he's plenty short enough at around 9-4 in a competitive race. And a horse that I've had on my tracker for a long time is Minella Daddy, who I think actually ran in the race that DJ's talking about in the fog.
He was second.
And he was second behind Regal Encore, yeah. And but previous to that, he'd been a massive improver, and he'd won at Ascot, I think, in the November meeting or one of their previous meetings. And he just caught my. He returned there last month for the meeting that Undersow won, and he travelled really nicely through that race. And I was kicking myself because I hadn't backed him, and being a long-term tracker horse, I was thinking, oh no, please don't let this horse go and win. And he didn't, luckily. He faded quite badly, finished 4th, but he would almost certainly have been in need of the outing, I think. And he should come on a good bit for that. Now, at the start of the season, Peter Bowen was there was a stable tour on Peter Bowen's yard, and he said, Minella Daddy, we're hoping we're going to get him in the Grand National. That's our big aim. We really think he could be a Grand National horse. Now, he's down in 90th on the list in the Grand National. He's not going to get in the race. So they can forget about the Grand National this year. They've got to kick on with him. This is a good opportunity. As I say, he likes this course. I think he's got plenty in his favour, and he's a decent price. He's around 16s. OK, so the boys have gone for the outsiders in this field. DJ gone for Regal Encore, and Graham Rodway has gone for Minella Daddy. The other race at Ascot that's on the box is the 3 o'clock. It's the Ascot Spring Garden Show. It's a handicap hurdle. Competitive old affair, isn't it, Tom Nugent?
Indeed. Dieg Man is our 11-4 favourite at the moment. Kilda Start is 7-2. Le Patriot 4-1. Friday Night Light 5s. Fix La Cap 8-1. 10-1 Stowaway Magic, and 16-1 the bar.
Who wins, David Jennings?
I don't really know, Bruce. I'm tempted to side with Fix Le Cap, given that he's had a wind up. Like if you go back to Fix Le Cap's previous form, he was second in the Imperial Cup off a mark of, like, he's 143 now. He was second in the Imperial Cup off a mark of 138, and it was a proper Imperial Cup because London Prize won it, and went down by a length that day. They were nicely clear of Derbyn in third. That was a really good run. Like, Payson was obviously supposed to be his game. He was disappointing. He was beaten at 1-5 at Plumpton in December. And no real excuses that day. But the key thing with Fix Le Cap is he's had a wind up since he last ran. And he looks the type that could benefit from it because he's often a strong traveller in his races. Like, go back through his form at Haydock last season. He was second to Frodon. He has really good quality form. He was up to the mark of 145 at one stage. I think off 143 after the wind up, he's certainly got the potential to be involved. It's obviously a little bit disappointing that Nico de Bonville is not riding it. He's riding Stowaway Magic. The Eggman, I have no idea what to expect. He's won 2 Mickey Mouse races since he's arrived with Neil Mulholland. He could be absolutely chucked in. It's interesting, he didn't go up at all for winning the novice hurdle at Catterick last time under Slippers Madden. Won easily there. Could be anything. Don't know how good he is. Going to chance to Fix Le Cap.
Fix Le Cap for DJ. Who for G-Rod?
It's not a race I have a strong opinion on. A bit like DJ, I thought it was very difficult. However, it wouldn't surprise me if the Eggman went off a ridiculously short price. It's the sort of JP horse that you could see getting absolutely smashed off the boards and going off around 2-1. It would not surprise me at all. And then he'd probably win if that happened as well. I'm not going to be playing in it. It's the one race on the Ascot card that I really didn't like.
Okay.
I could see the Eggman going off short price favourite.
Do you like anything, Tom?
Wouldn't be getting stuck into it now, but I think Dr. Richard Newland is one of the sharpest men in the UK to place a handicapper, and Le Patriot is on his third run for him now in first-time pieces. He was well bet on Cheltenham the last day and was beaten by 10 lengths or something in the Lanzarote. I'd take a chance on him in a trappy race like this. I think he could improve for the pieces.
Good stuff, chaps. Let's do Haydock next.